prophecy of the abomination. The abomination of desolation is the image of the beast, and it is called the image of jealousy. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, verse 3, we see that the seat of the image of jealousy is mentioned. It says, "And he put forth the form of a hand, and took me by the lock of mine head, and the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh towards the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy." And we know that what provokes the Lord to jealousy is mentioned in the commandment of thou shalt not create any graven image or rise up any image that you bow down to. And this is in Exodus chapter 20. It's in the commandment where you see that it provokes the Lord to jealousy. The location of the abomination of desolation, this image of jealousy that is set up, is revealed in the prophecy. And you look towards the inner gate towards the north. Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 3, in the same verse, it says, "The door of the inner gate that looketh towards the north." Now, looking at the temple layout and at the Temple Mount, we're looking towards the north gate and the gates of the temple. And in the north gate, we see that it is towards the Muslims' quarter. In Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 5, it says, "Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way towards the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry." Now we see here that it's talking about the northward gate of the altar. We notice that it says to Ezekiel to look towards the gate towards the north, where the image of the jealousy will be. And he tells Ezekiel to look. And Christ himself, in the book of Matthew, says, you will see the abomination of desolation. He says you will look and see it. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 15 and 16, it says, "When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains." Now, when it talks about this in Ezekiel, it says that you will look towards the north gate by the altar. And towards the north gate of the temple, there's a sacrifice gate, and there's another gate. So it's in between this right side here that where you will see the abomination of desolation at. It says that in Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 5, that when Ezekiel lifted up his eyes and looked towards the north, he saw northward at the gate of the altar the image of jealousy in the entry. It is in the entryway. Now, knowing that we're looking towards the north gate on the Temple Mount, looking at the layout of the temple and the quarters of Jerusalem, we see that the north gate faces towards the Muslim quarter of Jerusalem. This map shows the proper direction of the layout of the Muslim quarter to the north according to the temple layout and the construction of the third temple for Jerusalem. And we see that the location here is described as the location of the sacrifice gate at the north. And that's why in Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 3, it says, "The door of the inner gate that looketh towards the north." And we know that the sanctuary is there, the porch facing eastward, and from the altar northward we have gates, and one of them is the sacrifice gate. So at the gates in the north, we know that people come in, and this is where the image of the beast is set up, the image of the image of jealousy, the abomination of desolation. The people who come in from the north set up the image of the beast in the entryway that faces north, according to Ezekiel. Now in Daniel, chapter 11, verse 31, it talks about how the abomination is set up. It says, "And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate." So we see here that they take away the daily sacrifice. Well, the daily sacrifices are coming in through the sacrifice gate. So if the image of the image of jealousy is set up at the sacrifice gate and in the entryway, it will be stopping to the sacrifices. The sacrifice gate to the altar would be coming in from the north, from the Muslim quarter. Now, these armies that are mentioned here in Daniel chapter 11, verse 31, are the armies of the Antichrist, which come into the temple through the sacrifice gate, stopping the daily sacrifices. In Daniel chapter 8, verse 11 and 12, it says, "And he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of the sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground and practiced and prospered." So we see here he stops the daily sacrifices with the abomination of desolation being set up at that north gate that comes in from the north, that Ezekiel saw, that Daniel talks about, where the abomination of desolation is set up. This is the same image of the beast that is set up in the end times. Daniel chapter 12, verse 11 says, "And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days." The Muslim quarter in the north, at the north gate of the temple, is very relevant to what occurs in the end times, with the armies that come into the temple, that sack the temple, that set up the abomination of desolation. And we look into the book of Ezekiel chapter 9, it brings a further clarity to what occurs in the last days. It says in verse 1 and 2, "He cried also in mine eyes with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north. And every man a slaughtering weapon in his hand, and one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar." So we see that men come in with slaughtering weapons in their hand to kill people. They come in from the north gate, which is from the Muslim quarter. And they put an end to the sacrifices, set up the abomination. And what we see is the abomination of desolation at that entryway, right there in those gates to the north of the altar. And that's where it will be set up when they come in. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 6 says, "Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary." Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And he said unto them, "Defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth." And they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass, while they were slaying them, I was left, and I fell upon my face, and cried and said, Ah, Lord God, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? So what we see here is Muslims coming in as a vessel of judgment, like the Babylonians of old, slaying those people who are bringing forth these sacrifices in Jerusalem. They're coming in from the Muslim quarter at the north gate, near the sacrifice gate, that gate right there that lies towards the north of the altar that you see facing north. And this is where we find the prophecy being fulfilled. And what is the image of jealousy that provoketh to jealousy? Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 3 makes it clear that it's the image of jealousy which provoketh to jealousy. Provoketh who to jealousy? It provokes the Lord to jealousy, and the Lord brings wrath. In the book of Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 5, it also makes mention. It says, "Behold northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry." And the image of jealousy that provokes God to jealousy, in Exodus chapter 20 verse 4 and 5, it says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me." And it says here about the idols that it provokes the Lord to jealousy. "For I am the Lord thy God, am a jealous God." Do not make graven images and idols, because I am a jealous God. So what idol and image provokes the Lord to jealousy? The image of jealousy, which is the image of the beast spoken about in the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 13, verse 14 says, about the false prophet, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. And it is the false prophet that brings forth this idol where people show veneration and worship. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15 says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, the image of the beast that lies towards the north gate will have a religious connotation to be able to decree by its own speaking and talking religious laws. And obviously, it's going to be a culmination of what the Roman Catholic and unity with Islam propagate in the end times, where the false prophet, which is sitting in the seat of the Pope, exalts the Muslim leader and the Antichrist to where those who do not honor and show reverence will end up being killed. And what is this image of the beast that is talking? 3D hologram, artificial intelligence, with artificial intelligence embedded into it, however it appears in its final form, it's directly related to artificial intelligence decreeing religious law through their technology. And you see here that it says that it will cause as many that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now this image is erected just like the image of Baal, and this image is erected just like the days of Elijah with the image of Baal, just like Baal and the dragon, and we've covered this. But the image of the beast will be in the likeness of the Antichrist. The Mahdi of Islam will be likened unto this. It will be at that north gate where the Muslims come in from the quarter of the north gate, that the sacrifices are stopped. We know that it's not a Jew. We know that it's not a Jew because obviously in the prophecy it tells the people that are coming in from the north gate and with their slaughtering weapons to go in and kill all the elders of Israel. So people need to make corrections in their views and perceptions on what their prophecy, what they're looking for in the end times, because they're about to be deceived through a false timeline. And so the image of the beast is that abomination of desolation. It is the image of jealousy that is set up in the end times. And this is the prophecy of the abomination.